steal you. It can, and a terrible man can also use that to manipulate you because they could see like you have no boundaries. And as much as I want you guys to, to tell me this is a crybaby, JR made a point that he was without the dogs for a whole week. He was fine the whole week. Where was the tear the first day? You know what I'm saying? Where was the, oh my God, I miss my dog all week long? He didn't do none of that. All of a sudden, you want to cry for like 2 whole hours about the dogs? Because you want to make her feel bad. You want to use her emotional state because you know that she's gonna feel bad about it, and to the point where like you didn't even rebuttal when she said, "Okay, well my dog can be with my daddy for 2 months." He didn't care. That's why I feel like it's manipulation. It's gonna slowly creep on there. That's my point of view. Serial vibes.
Now, Ludwin, you are the official
Hmm.
cliff jumper tonight. The father did not say that Chris was giving serial KILLER vibes. He said, I don't know you. For all we know, you could be a serial fill in the blanks, right? So, yeah, he was just saying, we don't know you. I don't know anything about you. I don't know anything to trust you just because you seem like you could be a nice guy. But again, listen, we've seen a lot of characters show up on Married at First Sight. We've seen people that on the surface didn't look manipulative. So I'm not going to you know, fight that point too much. But yeah, the he could be manipulative. I think you might be onto you very well might be onto something with the manipulation and using the tears as a way of manipulation because he has no control over his emotions. So, because some men who do that, they look for a woman to swoop in like their mama and fix their issues because that's what their mom did for them, right? So I don't know if that's his relationship with his mom or not, or if he's so damaged from his previous relationships that that's how he acts out, or at the mere sign of stress or distress, he loses it and then kind of like falls into that like go-to mode. So it could be some manipulation in there. You might just be onto something.
Hmm. So, Crystal, you open your mic.
Yeah, real quick, I agree with Sean. Like that is a cliff that you just jumped off of, Ludwin. I will say that I will keep an eye on that, and you could be right. He could be a manipulator, and we'll see that later on. But her sharing the fact that she was abused and everything, uh some men may use that to manipulate their woman, but I didn't see that. He literally kissed the abuse scar. And when she gave that suggestion, he said, I can't ask you to do that. And dogs being boarded for 1 week is different from dogs being boarded for 2 months. So he may have been saying, I kind of miss my dogs, but they just didn't, they might have cut it out. So because 1 week is not that big of a deal, but 2 months, and I think he just catastrophizes. He's like, oh, it's a catastrophe. And that's actually a therapist word. He just made it a big catastrophe instead of thinking, what should I do? How can I make this work? And that's what I'm thinking. I'll keep an eye on it. But to me, uh no, I don't see that. I do remember what the dad says, like, you seem like a nice guy, but serial killers are nice guys too. Like, I did not see the dad calling him a serial killer. I do think the dad's pretty trepidatious because that's his baby girl. And to me, I thought, and I think I said this a couple weeks ago, she was abused in the past. Her dad probably knows it, and he's doesn't want her to jump that's going to abuse her in the future. So that's what I got. um I didn't see didn't get the other thing. So that's interesting. Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, I think he could be a serial crier, but not the other thing, you know. I think that's just something people say because remember, this is married at first sight, so the parents don't get to meet your potential partner. There's no vetting process. There's no introductions. Like, so that it's not even the first time I think I've heard either a friend or family member say that about a potential partner on the show. It's literally a shotgun wedding with someone that you've never seen before. But yeah, like, I mean, it's amazing how we can watch the same show and have very varying opinions about the same situation that we're all watching, right? I think if you wanted to be really analytical, you could say that maybe knowing how soft he is and knowing how strong she is in these moments, you know, he could also be the victim of manipulation at some point if she plays on the weakness that he has, right? He's definitely got an attachment to the dogs, and he comes across as quite an emotional and sensitive guy. So, you know, could it be flipped around? I'm not saying it is, but we could argue that it might be in the future, right? Because she seems like she acknowledges how strong her personality is, and she's got the gift of gab when she needs to have it. He seems like he could be very conflict avoidant, and I hope that when they do get into these tougher times ahead, if there are any, he doesn't just start crying as his go-to. But again, that's down to him to develop the strength within himself to hold back those tears and not be so emotional, but communicate effectively. And, you know, he's had the time, unlike ARRIS and CLINT, who, you know, they've had more recent encounters. Chris has been out for a year. Has he taken that time to heal, though? I would say, based on what we're seeing, not enough. All right? Because to have that level of emotion, I know, like I said before, there may be an attachment there, but to have that level of crying when, like Crystal said, you know, there could have been other options that you could think of on what you can do in that situation. But his instinct was to go outside, sit down and cry to himself. That's something that people do in despair. Like when they feel like they got no way out, no option. There's no avenues to solve the problem. And for him to just immediately go to that, I think that's a problem. Definitely.
Yo, to JR's point, I was just thinking about it. Both of these people have been in traumatic experiences in their past. Yet, this may be a jump a little bit, but yet, so far from what we've seen, it seems like Nicole has been in a better position and able to handle certain situations, and especially this process of being married at first sight. Chris, so far, I was going to ask the question: Does he even seem like he's really ready for something like this? Because the more and more we see of him, he presents like he is, but the more and more we see, it's like, oh, bro, you got some emotional instability going on with you. Like, what's going on? And then I saw somebody wrote this in the chat, and it brought something in my head. Men do have this connotation about crying in front of women. You know, it's kind of a rule: don't do it, because in most cases, well, just be honest, most women can't handle it. That's why, you know, we say you want sensitivity from us, but let's be honest, yeah, most of the time you can't handle it. But I thought it was interesting, the whole crying thing, right? I thought it was very interesting. Chris was outside. The camera was purposely far away and at an angle, like it was kind of caught him crying. Nicole then came from somewhere else. She wasn't even, seemed like she wasn't even in the room. She came from somewhere else outside, looked around. I saw her look at the camera or look at someone near her, probably one of the producers, was telling her, hey, you need to go outside. Something's wrong with Chris. So that tells me he was trying to at least think it out by himself first. I'm going to give him that grace. He was trying to go off by himself, cry it out, handle it, whatever he got to do. Got caught crying by one of the cameras or whatever, and then told her, and then she just popped out of nowhere. Oh, baby, what's wrong? And you saw he immediately went right here because he knew he was being watched in. He tried to cover his face. I just thought that was real interesting. I don't think he was expecting her to find him crying. He was trying to go cry by himself. Just a little interesting, little how they do things there.
You're probably right. He probably was, probably was trying to cry by himself. Maybe that was his corner, but it was a very open corner. It was right on the balcony. I mean, shoot, like I said, go for a walk. Just for anybody out there as well, we're not saying, listen, that that you can't cry in front of your girl at all. What we're saying is choose your moments wisely. Number two, if you cry when there's a solution that is needed, that this is not it. You know what I mean? If it's something that is, and I don't want to say it's trivial, but it is as trivial because no one's passed. He cried like someone like JR said, it was despair. And I think that's what makes it very difficult. Do you know what I'm saying? And then your crying led you to a point where even your girl gets involved and she then solves the issue. And we're saying that if this is a trend, we're going to have problems. So this is one-off, you know what I mean? It's a problem in itself. It's a one-off situation, but I'm going to say this, maybe I'm full of the toxicity, but you have to pick your battles, okay, when you cry, okay, all right? And if you're gonna cry and you are a bit of a crier, you go and cry in your closet, you know what I mean? Listen, me personally, I already told you, listen, when I watch movies, I feel a little tear in my eye, okay? When I watch a movie, I get emotional. That's me, you know what I mean? But to cry over something like this where it needs a solution is the issue. The thing needed a solution. Like your kids are coming to you telling me you ain't got no food, and you're there crying, sir, this ain't the time. Hustle. I don't know what you need to do, but you need to do something. But breaking down and crying at that point in time helps no one. Do you see what I'm saying? And I think that is the biggest issue. And I'm saying that for women, they will also feel unsafe, not because you're crying per se, but the occasion requires a solution, not for you to freeze in that moment. So I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. Like, and then when she even came back to him and then gave a solution, he even in his, they might have cut it off and edited it. But his thing should have been, wait, hold on, babe. You're about to sacrifice your dogs too. You're going to feel like the way I'm feeling. You know what I mean? I don't want you to feel that way. We have to think of another solution. I appreciate you have that solution. We need to think of another solution because you not having your dogs for 8 weeks will make you feel the way I'm about to feel. No. I don't want that either. Let's think of another solution. Nah, he sobered up. He did the two-handed eye thing. And then that was concerning for me. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Sean, you're the last one on this one. Go for it.
Yeah, I was going to say two things real quick. One, every season we have had these conversations about calling out the men that are crying. One, we give context. And two, we're always right about the dudes not being fit for the relationship, right? When we was talking about how Zach was weeping and wailing about how he wanted to get married and he was the last brother in his family to get married and now he's getting married and he's so excited. He never even met Michaela. We said, this is a problem and his mama is too overbearing. A problem, right? So not effective in the relationship. It didn't work out. It was a mess. Weeping Willow, Justin, last season, we called them out for the tears. It was a mess. Listen, we're not just making these things up, folks. It ain't gonna work. And meanwhile, last episode, he's talking about he's concerned about, if they have sex, is it gonna be good because he wants it to be good? No confidence, bro. And now you can't handle yourself in the midst of a stressful situation that's easily fixable. Yeah, no, it's not set up. You're not set up for it. And there's some things, just like we get on the ladies, when there's double standards, right? There's certain things men can do, and there's things we just can't. And being an emotional, constant crier, combined with not being able to hold ourselves together and be firm, ain't gonna work. Ain't no way. It's not gonna work. It's just not gonna work. And we're telling you, it's either fit for Nicole to be running all over him, or he's not going to know how to handle when they have an argument. He's going to run off and cry, I can't believe we're fighting again. Oh my God. Like, it's too much. You got to be able to control yourself. So that's that.
I appreciate that, Sean. ARRIS and Jasmine, they're the next two now. You say I'm just a friend. I want to get you guys' perspective because they had different number scores for their thing. It wasn't too dissimilar. And then obviously, they went into each other's houses, and then when they moved in, it didn't feel. I mean, we've been seeing some signs. I want to put this here. We've been seeing some signs of, I would call it over assertiveness from our brother ARRIS. Okay, all right. The whole grape